Click the links for Odysee, Bit Chute. There are other videos on there. More base videos at YouTube. Cat Video Central is not going to allow. So, and click the links to join channel, become a member, or support channel, and various other memes. It's funny with the Matrix. The guy in one of the interviews is saying like, I don't even want to. We want to take back the red pill. I want to take back that meme. It's like, well, that's a meme that's 20 years in creation. It's like, it's a concept of trying to make something go viral. It's just either the conditions have to be right. You're not going to take back a meme with a part 4 sequel that is not going to have the cultural impact. Sequels almost never have the cultural impact of the original film, and you're certainly not going to do it in 2021 with a Matrix 4 film that's set in a different, it's set in a different receptive audience, where in 1999 it had a huge impact because of what was available at the time. And in 2021, it's like a drop in the bucket. There's so much other stuff out there. Like, people are playing video games now. There's a certain percentage of their attention is being driven into music and all these other things. I think a lot of people are going to see the movie for sure, but to think it's going to have the same impact, it's like you set out to make this movie with propaganda themes. This is going to be in and out of the cultural consciousness in a nanosecond. There's nothing, you're not going to remember a single thing from this film. Oh, anyway, hey, let's, who the hell is this guy? They didn't race swap him, but they did swap out the fat guy in the original film, who's progressively getting fatter in all 3 films. It's like, dude, you're part of this multi-million-dollar trilogy. The least you could do is just diet for like 4 years. How hard is that to just cut those carbs for 4 years? He did a great job in the first film. Everyone did a great job in the first film. So everyone else gets the job back. They get to come back in part 4, except for this one guy. What's up with that? Like, did he piss off the director or something? So yeah, they made 3 films, but someone should really edit 2 and 3 into one single 2-hour film, because there was a lot of that was just ugh. First of all, go watch the originals, or better yet, go watch Blade Runner, or maybe The Fifth Element if you want something lighter, which was excellent film for a kind of a sci-fi comedy. Also check out Aliens 1 and 2, T1, T2, Ghostbusters 1 and 2. Maybe add Resident Evil 1 and 2, and then what was that black hole movie where they go to hell? I can't remember the title of that, but that was excellent too for kind of a space horror thing. Also, Disney made a black hole movie. I think it was called The Black Hole. It had the most amazing sets. They went way over budget on that, and they didn't know what they're making. Is it a kids movie? Because it's really kind of scary to be a kids movie. Then you have these cute little robots, but it's also very dark theme where they go into a black hole and they go to hell, or they go somewhere. Then if you want to go down that route, there are a ton of more campy earlier sci-fi stuff that like Mystery Science Theater would spoof. You can check out H.G. Wells and Jules Verne's adaptations of their various stuff, and Men in Black. There are a ton. There's probably like 200 films to watch before you need to watch this. Very little that's made post 2020 BLM riots is going to be worth watching. Now, what are the odds anything by the Watchaski sisters is going to fit that bill? Everyone was vaguely ethnic, with sunglasses and dark clothing and dark sets. It's like, was that the theme you were going for? It's like, what story are you really trying to tell? Oh, a story of my transition. Oh, God, why? Why would you want to tell a story that like 1%, less than 1% of humanity around the world, maybe 1%, less than 1% of Americans can even understand? And around the world, like, you're talking a very small percentage of people go like, what does that mean? Your trans experience? Like, we just want to go see a fun movie and eat popcorn. It's like, we just want to see cool special effects, people jumping into mirrors and type stuff. Oh, well, no, this is about my own red pill journey or blue pill journey or whatever, my own trans experience. Like, oh, God, just get out of your circle for just a minute and just get out in the world. Oddly enough, the critics gave it kind of a lukewarm pass, so it's a weird day where the Wachowskis are not woke enough for 2021. I always get them confused with the guys who made Something About Mary. I forget the name of those guys. Amazing film. Something About Mary was great. Maybe films are meant just to burn Trump in effigy nonstop. Like that's what people want to see or that's what the Hollywood liberals want to see 2020. Just nonstop, blonde man bad. Everyone bad's got to have a red hat on. So how is this next new film? I just said 10 seconds ago, post 2020 BLM riots, films are going to suck J.K. Rowling lady balls. When I say you might as well start planning to make your own Clerks, Special Dead, or Stan Helsing. I use those examples because Clerks was, I don't know, like 50 grand-ish. Special Dead was about 600 grand, and Stan Helsing was about 6 million. So there's, different orders of magnitudes of funding. Shows you what you can do with, if you've got dialogue and you got actors who can deliver comedy, you can make a movie for less than $100,000. It's going to look like Clerks, but it's better than this. The thing is, getting $1 million to make a movie is not easy, but it's like Comicsgate. The mainstream was so bad that alternatives had to spring up. It's like pushing down on the carpet. Eventually it pops up. Same thing happened to Odysee and Bit Chute with YouTube or with Gab, with Twitter. The mainstream stuff was so bad that these alternatives pop up where now you find yourself listening to Odysee more and more because they just don't have the censorship over there. It's like, I'm an adult. I don't need someone to pre-filter ideas that I may entertain. I can take them direct. So movies nowadays are a parody of themselves, and they're not getting any better, at least not from the mainstream. The first Matrix was a bunch of purse puppies, but it worked. For whatever reason, it was lightning in a bottle. And I'm watching Matrix 4 now, or last night as I was penning this out. It has all the incredible sets, the tech, the costumes, all the lighting, everything like technical was amazing. Everything you could want, everything that money could buy. And admittedly, if you try to make a low-budget $1 million film, you're going to have none of that. You're going to have something like Special Dead, which is filmed on a camp, and it's a comedy. Comedies, like horror comedies, you can do for a little bit less, because comedy is like physical positioning, dialogue, and how you deliver that dialogue. But if you like Spider-Man, the new one, or Matrix 4, I think you need to go back and look at what films were. Matrix 4 looks amazing. Everything technical about it is just off the hook. It's, peak 2020 technology. But so much has changed since 1999, since I saw that movie in the theater and on the big screen. It's going to be a whole different vibe. Maybe if I saw this on the big screen, I would have rated it a little bit higher. People are in the mood for deep escapism, especially from peak Weimar America now. Not this meta-recursive where everything is treated as a disdainful, jaded callback to what we did 20 years ago. It's like, Watchaski, dude, just lighten up. You're just trying to make a popcorn film. This is not, Citizen Kane or Casablanca or something. And, it's... What is it? Loosely off some William Gibson books, Mona Lisa Overdrive, or I don't know. He did. Keanu Reeves did another William Gibson book, Johnny Mnemonic, I think. And this is just kind of loosely set on the William Gibson kind of vibe. I forget the exact name of the book he did. The thing is, everything is so self-aware. And let me say that America big budget films now are doomed. This communist takeover is not going to be kind to films, and it's not going to be kind to honest films. It's not going to be kind to comedy at all, because you can't have that kind of stuff in films. Okay, so the odds of making a Matrix 4 that doesn't suck, it's pretty difficult, because The Matrix 2 and 3 were not very good movies. I mean, like, you saw them because you liked the universe of The Matrix 1. That was the only reason you stuck with parts 2 and 3. It's like, yeah, you would have been better off just combining those two sequels into one, where they meet the bad guy at the end, or something, or just leave them alone. Just make Matrix 1 and just leave it alone. Be like, yeah, that's $500 million in profit that we're left sitting on the table for the point of artistic. It's like, you're just not gonna leave that much money on the table, which it sucks. So you're forced to make two sequels that are like, less and less successful, but people saw them and they did make money, and that's kind of the only driving force. Okay, so everything is going to be cultural Marxist garbage, maybe forever, or at least maybe forever in mainstream Hollywood, and perhaps foreign films will be better, but this cultural Marxist takeover is throughout anywhere there's a European film influence, because it's going through the Hollywood machine. Until there's some pushback and you start feeding globalists to meth gators, This crap is your future. And yeah, this film was crap. So I'm sorry if you liked it. You're wrong. Or Yellow Flash like Spider-Man. I just want my Spider-Man. It was great. It was great entertainment for the kids. That was crap too. So I have to disagree with you there. Though I do feel like I want to see what a lot of YouTubers like after they get kicked off of YouTube and they're on Odysee full time. Like, I'm hoping the base levels will increase. The original Matrix wasn't exactly crap, but it wasn't as good as it could have been. It wasn't as good as people thought it was. It's hard to explain. We go right back and watch it now. It's like, yeah, it was good for the time. It was good for 1999. And I'm not saying there are plot holes, but it just wasn't that deep. You know, if you want to go read William Gibson's books, like his books were deep, and they were almost too deep. They're almost too hard to follow. William Gibson and Niels Stephenson. I've got a couple of those books on the bookshelf. Kind of I don't know, they run kind of a similar, what do you call it? Like, it's not steampunk, but tech punk or something. Future tech punk, I think. JDA, John Delarose, writes about that kind of stuff. The thing is, it was different for the time, but it's all kind of a mess. It's all kind of like, it could have been, it wasn't given as much thought. They get a scene like, what do we need? We need guns. Well, no, you need like 2 guns and magazines. You don't carry guns and just drop guns or replace guns. That's what the magazine receiver thing is for. You put the mags, you might need like a rifle and a pistol, and then you need magazines for those. You don't carry 4 rifles. You just carry 1 rifle and a half a dozen magazines. That's like lines and lines of MP5s and 223s and stuff. It's like, just take one. You can only carry one. That doesn't make sense. It's like, you go talk to, I don't know, some army person to have them walk you through that kind of stuff. Like, you're carrying like pistols, shotguns, carbines, rifles. It's like they all carry different magazines and different ammo sizes. It's like, it doesn't, there was a lot of little things like that didn't make sense. But I mean, it was good visuals. It's like, you could have brought a touch more realism into it instead of having people just carry like 15-pound rifles and discard them instead of carrying 15 pounds worth of magazines. So anyway, so watching this M4 as you sail the high seas, the future seems to be POC and POC, people very involved in high tech. You know, I can see that with China, Japan, South Korea, but not Africa so much, because Africa is not really a tech center. The future is also woke, so that's probably hate speech. But really, in the future, everyone's going to look the same, because the paradox of diversity is that mixing people destroys diversity. It's as if globalism was a lie this whole time. Yeah, a lot of this movie is, you know who made this movie, and this movie is made in 2021, where like, so if there's a go 50 years from now and try to rewatch these films, you're gonna watch the first 3 and like, oh, okay, this kind of has a common theme, and the first 3 were woke for the first 3, and then you put the 4th one at the end of it, you're like, oh, dude, what happened? What happened to the director? What happened to the writers when they made the 4th one? Well, a lot happened to the writers, and they got Trump derangement syndrome. Holy shit! And it's not that bad in the movie. It's just the movie's not really anything. It's just a 2021 movie. It's like the blue-haired girl with sunglasses and dark clothing. That's the movie. Oh, well, that's not a movie. You got to have more than that. You got to have like plot and redemption arcs and all this kind of stuff. Really, maybe a little romance. No, it's just like blue hair, sunglasses, and like endless rows of MP5s. Oh, and like people running on walls and, you know, 2-handed pistol shots and stuff like that. It's like, oh, and there's going to be hip, slick, and cool black guys wearing sunglasses. Yeah. Like all of them. Oh, where are the Mexicans in the future? Which is really weird, because it's like comics and movies don't seem to have a whole lot of Mexicans in the future. Or, I mean, you know, Mexicans, Central American, South American, Latin Americans in the future. It's just kind of behind the scenes, I guess, for Hollywood. Kind of weird. Hollywood really focuses on black for the future, which is odd. Anyway, so the future it films is going to be Spot the Blonde Guy, because he's going to be the antagonist, or at the very most, he'll be the effeminate cliche character, which is kind of weird for the Watchaskis to do an LGBT stereotype like that, because they're LGBT. But it was a white guy, so they could do it, right? So all future films are going to be 100% Wakanda at all times, except everyone will be trans and probably furry. So I've been on this old film kick on Bit Chute. They show old movies, all of them, Bit Chute and Odysee. And none of those old films I've been watching could be made today, because all it takes is one scene to, one little scene that was fine in 1988, and nowadays it's like, oh my God, they made fun of an Asian. How dare you? Yeah, the funny thing about that Long Duck Dong character was he went into the auction in character. That was his character he made. It was just an Asian stereotype. And he got the role because he went in character doing his character. And I was like, even at the time, that was kind of right on the border of being acceptable. But I don't know. The thing is, you could have done it with like a German character also in Lederhosen, and like nobody would have cared because it's the Germans, am I right? Or some, I don't know, Irish alcoholic or something. Sorry, Irish. Or you could have done it with a lot of things with Russians, and it's like, well, yeah, they don't get the protection. It's only the Asians that get protection. Though now Asians are honorary white people, at least, because now colleges are. I think Minnesota was splitting Asians. It was POC groups, but it said POC not Asian, and then the other groups were white and Asian combined. So Team Asian's going to have to pick a side. Anyway, the stuff today is going to be absolutely flavorless, like where even the orcs can be good guys or bad guys. If you've been following that World of Warcraft, Dungeons and Dragons type of thing, they're trying to make everything to please all people, where anyone could be anything, because to label them bad by a race, I guess, kind of offends the Twitter Bolsheviks who see orcs as human stand-ins. So the thing is, there's no white pills with Big Hollywood. But the white pill is that big okay, here's the white pill. The white pill is Big Hollywood is so bad that you're going to have somebody is going to say, can we crowdfund a $250,000 horror comedy like a Clerks or some kind of comedy, some kind of something? Can we crowdfund something, find a way to distribute it? That's the trick, is the distribution, because, all the main streaming platforms, of HBO Max, Amazon, Netflix, they're not going to work with you. They're not going to carry the film if it's not PC, and you can't make a PC film funny. I don't know, like, what about something like Zombievers? Like, just to show you that you can bypass Hollywood. And it wasn't PC, it was like, there's a whole genre of movies that's just bikini girls involved in horror comedy, because that's a very low budget, low special effects. Like, you've got chicks in bikinis who have to fight zombies. It works out really well, because, it's like, okay, we've got a farm. We're going to film this entire thing on this guy's farm. We can pay him $7,000 for the rental of the farm, or he might even let us do it for free if we give him credit at the end of it. And it's like, okay, yeah, we can do this for $250,000. Eventually, it's going to hit that point of people looking at modern movies that they spent $250 million on. You're like, yeah, it looks beautiful. All the people that worked to make this movie, amazing. But they're like, okay, I'm just going to hire Mundane Matt to be the director of photography, and we're going to make our own comedies. I don't know, something. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next episode.